Have you ever felt like you're shouting into an abyss only to be met with silence? Does it ever feel like the echoes of your past weigh down every breath you take? What would you do if a single letter had the power to turn your world inside out? I often find myself in the quiet of the night, lying awake as my thoughts wander in the darkness that surrounds me. It's in these moments of silence that I feel most vulnerable, like a prisoner to memories that refuse to fade. I'm Sarah, and on the surface, my life appears ordinary. I have a job, a small apartment, and a routine that keeps me grounded. But beneath it all lies a story I'd rather not tell, a history penned in unsent letters stored away in a worn-out journal. The letters are to someone I lost, someone whose absence has been a constant shadow in my life. Most nights find me revisited by a nightmare that clings to the edges of consciousness, a memory of a day that changed everything, a day I relive in excruciating detail. My world is small, confined by walls of my own making, a refuge from an unspoken pain. For years, I've cloaked myself in isolation until the unexpected arrival of a letter shattered the fragile walls I built. Its arrival was a cruel twist, a reminder that the past is never truly behind us. The letter sits unopened on my kitchen table as if daring me to unravel the life I've carefully constructed. It's from David, my brother, the very person whose absence carved the deepest wound. I stand at the edge of a precipice, torn between the fear of reopening old scars and the hope of healing what's been broken. As the night stretches on, I am left with nothing but my thoughts and the silence that beckons me to confront the ghosts I've long avoided. The night my world fractured is seared into my memory with a clarity that defies the years I've spent trying to erase it. I remember the silence of our house, an oppressive quiet only broken by the occasional creak of floorboards as though the house itself was holding its breath. My mother lay motionless in her bed, her face more peaceful in death than I'd ever seen in life. The air was thick with the scent of decay and flowers, a cruel reminder that beauty fades, and the living room was dim, shadows swallowing the corners like a maw. I was 22, feeling like a child again, desperate and lost. David was nowhere. His silence screamed louder than any argument we ever had. The house felt like a tomb that night, suffocating and cold, and all I needed was his presence, his reassurance. But he had left, vanishing into the night without a goodbye, leaving a gaping hole where my center had been. The betrayal was a knife twisting deep within, carving out chunks of my heart and leaving hollow spaces behind. I couldn't understand why he had walked away, why he had chosen escape over solidarity. I stayed up all night, my mind a tempest of grief and disbelief. My mother was gone, yes, but it was David's absence that shattered me. I wandered the rooms of our deteriorating house, each one echoing with memories from a childhood marred by neglect. Our father was a ghost even when alive, his presence as toxic as his absence was liberating. But David, he was meant to be the constant, my anchor. I was adrift, and the storm of memories and emotions threatened to drown me. The feeling of abandonment settled in my bones, seeping into every crevice of my being. I found myself writing feverishly in my journal, words pouring out like blood from a wound. The pages absorbed my tears, becoming a repository of pain and unvoiced screams. I was alone, truly alone, and the weight of that isolation crushed me. The letter from David brought it all crashing back, stirring the sediment of buried emotions until they clouded my vision. I was left clutching a photograph, the only tangible proof of the bond we once shared, a reminder of a time when love felt unbreakable. The silence of the night presses in, heavy as the secrets I harbor. It almost feels like a blanket, suffocating yet oddly comforting. I wander through the corridor of my mind, trying to avoid the locked doors, those shadowed places where the memories of my mother's death and David's disappearance wait to ambush me. Yet, here I am, standing before them, key in hand. I revisit that night like an unwelcome guest, an intrusion into the calm I pretend to hold. My mother, frail and cold, slipping away as if her absence had long been rehearsed in our lives. And David, gone with the dawn, leaving me with a silence more profound than the one I now pretend to embrace. Each memory is a jagged shard of glass, cutting deeper every time I dare to touch it. And yet, inexplicably, I cannot stop my hands from reaching out. The photograph stares at me from the bedside table, two children laughing, unknowing what cruel alchemy turns images into daggers. I lay awake, the ceiling a blank canvas where my fears and regrets scrawl themselves in restless patterns. I remember the warmth of David's hand in mine, a lifeline I thought would never fray. The world dims around me, and I am left clutching at shadows, trying to find my footing in a life that seems to be spiraling without promise of return. Writing does nothing to fill the void, it only expands it, as if my words are digging their own graves. I scrawl furiously in my journal, venting emotions that twist and writhe like living things. Anguish, resentment, love. My pen stutters across these pages, my unsent letters a testament to the fractures in my soul. Isolation is my only companion. I see nobody. I reach out to no one. It's as if I'm trapped in a glass box, the world distorted around me, sounds muted, sights blurred. My heart pounds with a rhythm of panic, a constant reminder of my own inadequacy. I feel David's absence like a ghost, a presence just out of view, whispering truths I refuse to hear. His letter sits unopened on the table, a Pandora's box I'm terrified to unlock. I carry the weight of its possibilities. Peace, pain, closure, despair, balanced precariously on the edge of hope. My exhaustion is terminal, my helplessness a constant drone in the background, a reminder that perhaps I am only a shadow of what I used to be. And yet, somewhere beneath the rubble, a spark flickers. Perhaps, just perhaps, it's time to decide whether to let it burn. The weight of silence, like an ocean tide at night, presses against my chest, drowning me in memories I long to forget, yet cannot escape. Each breath is a struggle, each moment an eternity, teetering on the brink of collapse. My mind, that once familiar sanctuary, now feels foreign, inhabited by ghosts of the past that echo through the corridors of my thoughts. The letter from David has unraveled the fragile threads I had spun so carefully around my trauma, leaving me exposed, raw, and trembling in the dark. Anxiety claws at the edges of my sanity, threatening to consume me whole. The world outside my window blurs into a kaleidoscope of fears and uncertainties, and my heart races against an unseen terror. I move through the days like a specter. The routine that once anchored me now feels like a distant shore. My work suffers, slipping through my fingers like sand, and with it, the semblance of control I've clung to so desperately. The isolation I crafted as a cocoon has become a prison, tightening its grip with each passing hour. In a moment of desperation, I return to the abandoned house of my childhood, seeking solace amid the decay. The walls whisper stories of laughter and tears, a tapestry of moments woven from pain and fleeting joy. Here the past and present collide, a symphony of unfinished symphonies playing out in my mind. I stumble upon a hidden drawer, its contents a revelation, letters from David, penned in the shadows of our shared suffering. His words speak of guilt, of love twisted by survival, a reflection of my own silent screams. Understanding flickers through the chaos, a fragile light illuminating the shadows. We were both prisoners, shackled by the weight of a broken past. In his letters, I see myself, and for the first time, I grasp that our wounds are not solitary confinements, but shared scars. The realization is terrifying, yet liberating, a call to arms against the silence that binds us. As the night deepens, I confront my reflection, a shattered mirror piecing itself back together, each fragment a testament to resilience, a promise of healing. The silence around me is no longer just an absence of sound, but a companion, whispering old echoes of grief that refuse to fade. It's an ache that has become familiar, like an old coat worn too long, heavy yet comforting in its consistency. I've learned to live with this pain, like living with a ghost that insists on sharing your space. Even now, as I think of David, the memories stir a bittersweet longing, a reminder of both the hurt and the love that once was. The years of silence between us were filled with unspoken words, heavy with regret. Yet reaching out was like breathing in after holding my breath far too long. That initial step towards him was tentative, a dive into uncertain waters, but it was necessary. We unravel our stories, piece by piece, like a jigsaw puzzle of shared sorrow. Healing, I've realized, is not about erasing the past, but learning to navigate its scars. In the therapy sessions, I'm learning to embrace the chaos within, understanding that my story, his story, our story, they all hold pieces of truth that intersect and diverge. I let go of the letter, the water carrying it away, and with it, the weight of unspoken forgiveness. Yet, I know some wounds may never close completely. They remain as silent reminders that healing is a journey, not a destination. And so I continue step by fragile step, learning to live with the echoes, but no longer letting them define me. In the quiet aftermath of her tumultuous journey, Sarah finds herself sitting on the edge of a bed flooded with the soft, forgiving light of early dawn. The world outside is hushed, mirroring the tentative calm that has settled within her. Her heart, once a cacophony of pain and resentment, beats with a gentle rhythm. The echoes of her past now woven into the fabric of her present. As she breathes in the cool morning air, she reflects on the burden she has carried. Once a sharp, unyielding weight that pressed down her every thought, it now feels more like a softly beating pulse, a testament to what was endured and survived. Images of her mother, her brother, and the child she once was drift through her mind like sepia-toned memories, swirling and overlapping, each frame tinged with an understanding she never thought she could embrace. She realizes that the shadows of her past will always live within her, but perhaps they don't have to define her. With a newfound sense of serenity, Sarah contemplates the river where her last letter to her mother silently drifted away, its waters carrying away her lingering anger. In that moment, her grief becomes a quiet companion rather than a relentless adversary. The river's flow echoes through her soul, a gentle reminder of the passage of time and the possibility of renewal. Her journey has not erased the scars, nor has it fully extinguished the hurt, but it has taught her to coexist with them. It's in this delicate balance, this tender acceptance, where Sarah finally finds her healing. The world around her stirs to life as the city awakens. A new chapter unfurls before her. In this space of quiet understanding, she acknowledges the beauty in her resilience and the unwavering power of her own narrative. Have you ever been through something you've never told anyone about, something that still lives in your chest? If you feel like sharing it, we're here. Drop your story in the comments, even just a part of it. Every week we turn one of your stories into a cinematic video, just like this one. This is a safe space. Your voice matters. You're not alone.